Hi, this is Lindsay with Mutual Advocacy. I have over 28 years of experience in conflict resolution as a lawyer, as a academic, as a judge. I want to begin this conversation with defining the difference between litigation and mediation. I often use this story when I'm in court talking to litigants, when I'm encouraging them to look at mediation as an alternative to what I refer to as adversarial conflict contest through litigation. And I emphasize those words, adversarial conflict contest through litigation. Litigation is designed to be a battle over conflict in which there is a winner and a loser. That's the primary difference from mediation. When I tell the story through or before litigants, I often describe the scenario where one person is coming down from a mountain on a narrow path and the other person is coming up the mountain on the same narrow path. And they reach each other and they realize that they're at impasse. They're staring into each other's eyes. Each one has an agenda or an interest that they don't see susceptible or open to compromise. They're steadfast in their conflict towards one another. If they pursue a resolution to their conflict through litigation, essentially they're asking someone to come out from the sidelines wearing a black robe to decide which of them will be thrown over the side of the mountain. A winner and a loser will be determined through that process. It is a conflictual process, an adversarial process. It is a contest to see who survives. Contrast that to mediation. Mediation is designed to empower the parties to recognize each other, to listen to one another, to empower them to resolve their own dispute without having some third person intervene and tell them what the outcome will be. One of the benefits of mediation is it can be as quick as possible, depending on the parties' positions. If they're open to resolution, they can work towards that and expedite the resolution of their conflict. Litigation is often a very protracted process in which there is incentive for all parties to continue the process. One is through attrition, where the parties believe they can beat the other down, so they want to drag out the process. They engage in processes like discovery, demanding documents, and or sit for depositions through lengthy processes to discover what the other side knows about the case or the dispute. And that's a process even before you get to the trial court. And then there's the trial itself. It is the process of selecting jurors and going up before the court and opening and closing arguments and lots of witnesses in between. It is a process designed to find the truth, if you would, but often it is a process that results in the strongest prevailing, those with the strongest will, those who have the strongest motivation to prevail over the other. Whereas in mediation, the parties are about the process is about resolving the underlying conflict. It's about trying to let go of whatever the issues were in the past for a future that is based on peace. It recognizes that people have a mutual interest in peace, that they're more productive in peace, that they're healthier in peace, and that whatever their relationship in the past can be redefined as a new relationship based on peace as opposed to conflict. Whether it be a divorce or a business dispute, whether it be a community dispute or groups within the community having a dispute between one another. It's a healing process. It's a more healthy process. Now, most of us, we've grown up in a culture where the legal system is seen as the ultimate place to resolve your disputes. We consciously make the decision to take our problems, march down to the courthouse, file paperwork in a public forum, and air out our dispute. Again, whether it's a business dispute, family dispute, or community dispute. We tell all of our ugly private business out in the public forum, and there's a permanent record made of our dispute and all the ugly allegations that people make when they're angry at each other in those disputes. It's all recorded. It's all kept in the public record. It opens and it makes people vulnerable to public scrutiny over their controversy. That's another downside of litigation. Whereas in mediation, it is private. Parties are able to contract with a third party to resolve their disputes in private. It doesn't have to be open to the newspapers or the TV stations or to your neighbors. Whether it's divorce, whether it's a a custody battle, whether it's a business dispute, whether it's issue between the police department and a citizen over some issue of civil rights. It can be all resolved privately between the parties. That's what mediation provides, a very quick process with parties who are guided through a process that enables them to overcome their emotional, their emotional roadblocks to peace. Often that is what drives conflict, that people find themselves feeling inadequate in some way, not listened to in some way. So the first hallmark that we're talking about today is recognition and empowerment. And I've tried to explain a little bit about how that manifests itself through the process of mediation, that parties want to recognize each other through mediation. Parties who felt, have you ever been in a relationship in the past where with an employer or a romantic relationship or a marriage, or most people might look back to their childhood when they were a child with regard to a parent. Maybe you didn't always feel like you were recognized. Maybe the parents were telling you what always to do. They were in control of the relationship. That's normally the case with children, but think of that as an adult where you're being told what to do, whether it's your employer, your spouse, or a friend, or whatever it is. You feel unrecognized in terms of your interests, in terms of what your preferences are. You concede all the time to those of the dominant person. So part of mediation is to level the playing fields, to give you an opportunity to be recognized. It's also an opportunity to be empowered. Often the problem with not being recognized is you're afraid to say no. You're afraid to say, hey, I'm here. You're afraid to say, listen to my side because I have a side too. Mediation is designed to make you feel comfortable. You're telling your story often to the mediator, not to the other party. The other party is prepared to listen because that's the process. They listen while you're telling your story to the mediator. Somewhat look like therapy. You sit to a therapist and one party gets to say how they feel. And they look into the eyes of the mediator who's trained to be open and to present a calm demeanor and to present a safe place for the person to talk. So they feel more comfortable talking. That gives them a sense of empowerment to tell their story. And in doing so, they'll recognize that they do have a story. And the other party hears that story, perhaps for the first time. And often the other side will reflect upon where they're at. Did they know about that side of the story? What role do they play in inhibiting that story from being told? How do they feel now that they've heard the full story? And that begins the process of mediating disputes, where people who are looking for peace over conflict are much better able to find it through a process where they're listening to one another. And so today's hallmark is looking at transformative mediation, which is a type of mediation that is designed to help people transform or transition out of conflict mode, to a true commitment to finding peace, to a true commitment to listening to the other person, and to a true commitment to empowering both parties to shape how they might find peace through conflict resolution. If you'd like to hear more, then stay tuned. We'll be publishing a new video cast every week following the other 9 hallmarks of transformative mediation. In addition, we offer a training program every May and every September. We do so in an international resort location. This May 2019, we'll be conducting a training for those who are interested in mediation, transformative mediation. It'll take place in Turkey in a remote resort area on the Aegean Sea, on the shoreline of the Aegean Sea. Beautiful weather, hiking, yoga, in the mix of talking about mediation. It's $4,500 per participant. That includes lodging, food, local transport. The only thing it doesn't include is your airfare. If you'd like to find out more about this training coming up in May 2019, which will be held at the Soul at Peace retreat for mediation, it's a master's level training in mediation. You can contact us through neutraladvocacy.com. There you'll be able to get more information on that program and register if you're interested. So we look forward to talking with you next week. Take care.